This video includes discussions of racism, segregation, desegregation, and the civil rights movement in America, as well as fat phobia, as well as being about a silly Disney Channel original movie. Viewer discretion is advised. Kia ora! Welcome to Autistic Tea. I'm autistic, I drink tea, and I talk about things. And today we're going to be talking about Zombies, the Disney movie, or Disney Channel original movie. Today I am drinking lemon and ginger tea because I'm recovering from a tummy bug. And do you like my new mug? A friend of mine makes them and I love it. So I just found out about the Zombies trilogy and I am obsessed. I watched Drew Gooden's video on it today and immediately did all of the movies, and I watched the first one and now I'm talking about it. I can't not. I have been compelled. I haven't filmed in so long, but this movie has rocketed me into motivation to film a video. I must talk about the zombie racism allegory musical. This is also my first time filming with a mic. I'm going to try not to touch it. And I wonder how my spike in loudness that does happen on the regular is going to come across on the actual mic. I know, like, overall it'll probably sound better. I'm also a little worried that my turtle ring, which, like, its head moves, and I'm worried that, like, the rattle is going to come across, like, every time I move my hand, which is going to be like every second or two because I'm autistic and I can't not move my hands. I mean, it's not necessarily just an autistic thing. I also happen to be from a theatrical background, so, and I'm also queer, so, like, you can't expect these hands to stay still. They were made to move. Okay, so the zombie racism allegory musical. Let's get to it. So it opens with an animation that tells us that just 50 years ago, an accident including lime soda released some sort of toxic gas that turned, like, the workers and some of the locals in the area of this town into zombies. Full-on flesh-eating zombies. And they ate people. One of them is shown to be a child in a ball pit. So I assume this child zombie ate other children, which is fairly graphic, but, like, I know zombies are, like, one of those, like, movie monsters that are sort of, like, ubiquitous, and I have had conversations with, like, 6-year-olds about how to survive the zombie apocalypse. So it's not totally out there. They don't show, of course, any of the gory violence of, you know, zombies consuming human flesh. But it was just 50 years ago. Anyway, the town survives this zombie apocalypse, and instead of killing off the zombies, which is generally what one does in a zombie apocalypse, they manage to wall them off somehow. They wall them off into a zombie town, and those zombies live there, and after an unspecified amount of time, the zombies are able to live basically like humans due to a special device, a bracelet called the Z-Link, which makes them not want to eat human flesh. It basically makes them human, other than the fact that they all have white face paint, green hair, and red under eyes. They're human. They're not super strong. They're not more or less intelligent. They're not more or less capable. And they live in the zombie town.
Eating brains.
Slum,
now zombies can live happy lives
as
and have
people,
handsome yet humble kids.
separate but equal. Uh-oh. So our two main characters introduce the movie to us, and they are talking directly to us, Here's Z for zombie, and Addison, A for normal person. And Zed's just a normal everyday guy who's a zombie, and he's happy, you know? He wears his government mandated clothing that sets him apart from the other normal people, because zombies have to wear specific clothes and items that identify them as zombies. And he lives in his zombie slum town. And today is the first day that he is going to go to school for humans, and they're going to be integrated. It's a big day. It's also the first day of high school for Addison, and she's going to be on the cheer team, and everything is going to be fine as long as she keeps her wig on, because she has white hair. And it's a big deal, the white hair, because everyone in the human part of the town, it's not specified whether this zombie apocalypse like spread further than their town or if it's just this town. But this town in particular, it doesn't like any sort of difference. It doesn't like anyone being even slightly different, except for the fact that you can all be a different race. That's okay, but you can't be a zombie or have an overbite.
Is that an overbite?
Do you wear corrective lenses?
Or wear glasses. If it's such a big deal that no one know you have white hair, then why is it this long? Shave it all off and glue the wig to your bald head. I don't understand. Also, she's like shufting that thing around a lot.
Dad says I can't go wrong. No, as long as I keep this on. Oh.
And I watch enough wig wearing YouTubers to know that if you can do like this with your wig, it's not on, okay? You need to glue that down. I haven't even barely to the opening number, because this is a musical, okay? It's not just a zombie racism allegory. It's zombie racism allegory, the musical. So the first song starts, and I love that all these Z name zombies. You got Zed, Zoe.
I'm Zoe. You're Addison.
Eliza.
Let me introduce you to my friend Eliza.
We'll never be accepted. Zombies need to rise up.
And Gonzo.
It's a bonzo. Come and spit a verse. A zig zig wig wad ziggy got ya.
And here we are introduced to the fact that they eat substitute brains made from broccoli or cauliflower.
Son, try this. Brains in a can. It's made out of cauliflower.
So they do need to eat brains. Like, there is something physiologically different about them that even with the normal making bracelet on, they crave human flesh. Like, they need something enzymy from brains. So without these bracelets on, we are assured they would be brain eating monsters. Okay, so again, as a racism allegory. Anyway, opening number. I'm obsessed with this minority group singing about how they're so happy that they live in the slums.
But it ain't so bad on this side of the tracks. We make it work with a little bit of swag.
It's like, yeah, we're second-class citizens, and everyone treats us as such, and we live in the slums with garbage, but it's okay, we're happy. The zombies, who have only been around for 50 years and have only been sentient for... have their own language, and this guy...
He just dropped that in zombie.
Speaks only in it, and that's supposed to be a joke, because, you know, speaking a minority language is hilarious. And then we get to the school, and they are literally segregated by a fence, a little too real, but it's okay, because this is integration day, except the zombies have to go and live in the basement to teach, and their teacher was a janitor 45 minutes ago. Everyone acts like this big integration, it clearly wasn't like pushed for by the school, by the mayor. So like it's a government mandate to integrate this school and not have these zombie kids go to a zombie only school. They have to go, like, they're going to the human and zombie school. But everyone acts like this was like a very last minute decision, and I just don't think that's what happened. I also cast your mind back to social studies. Do you remember that black and white photo of that, like, that little adorable 6-year-old black girl getting like spat on by grown adult people, whites, who didn't want her going to the school? They didn't want an integration. Do you remember that? You remember that little girl? Yeah, she's still alive because that wasn't that long ago. This reminds me of that, and yet so doesn't, because it's so obviously being like, separation. Remember when we did segregation? Oh, but it's okay because we integrated good. And I'm like, I am loving the over-the-top acting. I love this girl who comes in and is like, woohoo, bottom feeders. Okay, I love her. I love her energy. I love what she's doing. I love the villain. I love what he's doing.
People love me, okay? I got jazz hands. Those freaks are nothing like us. We'll be great. I can feel it in my gut. Feels like a pit in my stomach.
Look at Bonzo, Gonzo, Gorbo, Zorbo, whatever weird zombie name they've given him. Look how deep he is, okay? He might be the joke oaf, but he has a deep soul.
Fire.
So this character who I love,
All the times they told me walk away, I said forget it. I knew where I was headed, and I was gonna get it.
I genuinely was like, oh, okay, so there's going to be a parallel between her not being on the cheer team because she's chubby and the zombies. I don't like it, but like Hairspray did it. This movie wants what Hairspray has, and it does not have even half of what Hairspray had. But then we see her in the dance number actually going up as a flyer, and I thought that was awesome. I was like, hell yeah! But then she chickens out, and like the Bucky, the main cheerleader, is like, oh no, she's not part of the team, and Addison has to stick up for her. But I don't understand. It's like they don't ever explicitly say it's fat phobia, but like, why else would she not be on the team? And if you look at her in the group shots, like her casting as a slightly chubby girl, and I mean slightly, I mean she is very normal body type, a very average body type. But when you look at her in the group scenes and the group dance number, she's noticeable because she's not the Disney skinny body type. Okay, everyone else in the movie who was a main character has the Disney skinny body type except her. So I feel like that was a choice, but then they didn't go anywhere with it. So Addison and her friend make the cheer team, and they have to go and be initiated into the cheer team. And in order to do that, obviously you have to go and do a racism. So they're driven to the slum to go and do a hate crime. And this is when Addison is like, I didn't know zombies were treated so badly. And it's such a weird moment for her to think that, because ain't nothing too bad happened. I mean, for, like, especially since earlier, I forgot to mention, Zed sneaks out of the basement to go and try out for football tournament. He ends up, someone sets off an alarm, and him and Addison have a meet cute. It's not important. But she punches him. When she realizes he's a zombie, she full-on punches him in the face, point blank, and then she's like, whoops, I'm sorry. I've been taught zombies are flesh-eating monsters. It's okay that I assaulted you. Anyway, so she's been taught that. They're literally separated by a fence at the beginning of the movie. She knows that they live in a slum, and everyone around her talks about how bad they are. But here, where like she's been told to egg a house, and Zed comes out and doesn't tell on her to his dad. She's like, oh, I had no idea they were treated so badly. It's like, didn't you? And also, why is this your moment of realization? This is a weird moment to have an epiphany when any other moment would have made more sense. But okay. So there's like a pep rally. Is that what it's called? When you go and you don't watch sports, but you hang out and all cheer. You just watch the cheerleader team. Is that a thing American schools do? That's weird to me, but okay. They go to a pep rally, and Zed is like, we're gonna go. And his friend Eliza is like, I don't want to go to a human pep rally. And he's like, no, I've got to cheer on Addison, who almost hate crimed me, but decided against it. And I want to be on the football team, so I gotta go.
Zombies don't do pep rallies. I can't believe you dragged us out here to see Cherry McCheerstein. You gotta be sick. Do I look green?
This minority girl who is forced to live in a slum and wear identifying clothing really needs to lighten up, okay? You think maybe if she put some pep in her step, she'd probably be treated better, you know? She'd probably have rights by now. She just had a little cheer, had a little smile on her face. So Bucky sees that the zombies are at the pep rally, the cheerleading event or whatever, and he is pissed off. He does not want them there. He thinks they should stay in the basement, and he is angry. So you know what he wants to do with these monsters that eat human flesh? He wants to provoke them so that everyone sees what monsters they truly are. Bucky, they eat people. They eat people, buddy. They eat human flesh. What is your goal? So he sets off some like sparklers, and zombies are scared of fire. Classic zombies. And even with the Z-Link bracelet that is electromagnetically controlling them against their nature to make them more human, they're still scared. And of course, Zigzag Zogaboo Boo, he loses it, and he gently pushes Zed over. He gets a bit of a bump, and this messes with his government mandated bracelet that mind controls him to be human. So much so that he goes part zombie. He's like halfway zombified. It makes him super strong. He runs to Addison because everyone is freaking out and she's about to fall because all of the people, she'd been thrown up in the air. All the people who were supposed to catch her didn't catch her. And so he catches her, and everyone's like, hooray, the zombie saved the day. And no one goes, hey, Bucky, why did you bring out sparklers when you knew there were zombies in the crowd and that could have provoked them to, you know, eat us? No one questions that. Everyone's just like, good job, Zed. And the small impact of Addison falling into his arms sets Zed's bracelet right again. And I just think, uh-oh, government, didn't you design these to stop these guys from eating human flesh, but a very mild impact can make them mess up so badly? Whoops. Maybe that's why they've been in the slum so long, and why they're only integrating now is because they haven't really trusted the technology. And I'm not pro segregation. I want to make that clear, okay? However, in the case of small band of technology stopping someone from, you know, being average neighbor, they go to the grocery store, blah, 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 to flesh-eating monster, I think maybe it's okay to have them separate. Uh-oh, movie. Okay. Zombie Racism Allegory, the musical, has now shown that because of Zed showing how super strong he was, the football coach, because their football team sucks, the football coach is a weird comic character. The jokes are not landing. And I don't like that he's super like doesn't like zombies unless they're useful. But anyway, he wants Zed on his team because he thinks like a strong, aggressive guy like that would be great on the football team. Zed's like, okay, I'll be on the team, but you have to treat zombies equally. And the principal's like, I'll only treat zombies equally if you win. So this is like a weird case of like tokenism where like if you benefit us, you can have rights. But the movie plays it like that's okay. That's good actually. Zed is winning the games because he is genetically superior at sports than the normal people. He messes with his bracelet. He gets Eliza, his radical friend, who can also hack government issued bracelets, to make it unstable so that he's halfway zombie, but he's not all the way over to brain eating. And he's winning all the games. And each game he wins, zombies get more rights. So they're allowed to eat in the cafeteria, and they're allowed to join clubs, and other people in the school are sitting with them, and it's like, hooray, equality, I guess. I mean, it's very much like conditional, super conditional on this one guy continuing to win a sports game, but it's okay. It's good actually. That's not how racism works. And stop showing us that that's cute. Stop being like, look, they're giving him a chance and treating everyone equally. He's one of us. That's not cute, movie. That's bad. Uh-oh. And like Zed, while, the school is coming around to zombies, woohoo, Zed is winning football, so we like all zombies now. Zed and Addison have a little romantic song in the bunker where they first met, the bunker that is specifically designed to protect humans like Addison from zombie attacks from people like Zed. And it was where she first physically assaulted him because of his race. But anyway, they sing a cute little duet, and he implies he wants to eat her, and she implies she's going to punch him again. It is so cute. It is so romantic. And they sing about like how one day a love like ours will be seen as normal. And this is so weird to me because of like what this is clearly an allegory for. Like, it is so obviously a desegregation, racism allegory. It hurts, but also like, so my mum's future marriage wouldn't become legal in America until the year after she was born. That's how recent this desegregation thing is, okay? My mum was born, and people like her and my dad couldn't get married. But in America, in the UK, it doesn't appear that they had any laws against miscegenation, which means that when my mum and dad were dating, they experienced no racism whatsoever for holding hands in public. Okay, I had to have a wee break because I have a bit of a fever. Again, still recovering from a tummy bug. Okay, so anyway, I was talking about Addison and Zed having their wee love ballad, and they have like a reprise later on, and it's no Without Love, okay? In fact, I would like to take this time to say that all the songs in this movie are forgettable. Like, when you're listening to them, you can kind of be like, it's a bit of a bop. But they do not stick in your head. Not a single one is in here now. And they're like not that exciting. The lyrics are not that exciting. Like, they're very bland. And I wonder if they were trying to run the gamut of being applicable to the story, but also being able to play on the radio. And you like, if you're going to write a radio musical, you may as well give up, because I think a musical, you have to write the songs for the musical. They have to be applicable to the musical. They have to tell us like the story.
But not you, Moulin Rouge. I'm so sorry. I forgot about you, Moulin Rouge. I'm so sorry.
And if you're going to be vague radio edit about it, then you're a coward and it fails as a musical. And this movie fails as a musical. But that being said, the director and the choreographer really went all out on the stylization. I love the stylization of the visuals, and I think the choreography, I think it's real good. I like the way they move their legs and their arms in time with the music. I am more of a song person in terms of what I am an expert at, but I'm not an expert at music in general. So when it comes to dancing, I have no knowledge. So I look at it and I think it's really good. And to me, it looks better than High School Musical. I really like the visuals of the musical numbers in this movie, and I really couldn't care less about the songs. That's my opinion as a musical enjoyer, okay? This movie is a musical, which I guess lends it to the fact that you can break the fourth wall, but I don't like the way it does it. I don't like the way they break the fourth wall, and I really don't like when they make eye contact with me. Don't do that, Addison. I don't like it. Don't look me directly in the eyes. Oh, here we go again with the racism allegory. Okay, I know this is very white people Disney safe, hip hop, rap, whatever. Again, I'm not a music person, but it still feels like, hey, did you know that the zombies in this movie are supposed to represent black people, except not really? Yeah, I picked up on that movie, and it's made me super uncomfortable. I'm obsessed with you, don't get me wrong. I love it, but I also hate it. So Bucky is real mad that everyone likes zombies now, okay? Everyone has moved on from their deeply ingrained racism on a surface level. They're hanging out with zombies. They're wearing zombie chic, which means that they're taking aspects of zombie culture that has been forced on them. They have been forced to work with styles forced on them by the government, and they've made it unique and their own. And now the accepted majority is taking tokens of the minorities' culture and wearing it as their own. And again, this is shown as cute. Racism over, instead of racism continues, but in a slightly different way.
Cheers, spirits. Glory to all that is firecracker, firecracker, shish boom ba.
Anyway, Bucky is real mad because he's a full-on human supremacist. So he wants some way to make the zombies pay, or to make the zombies look bad, so that everyone will go back to hating zombies and he can have his perfect life, his perfect cheerleader squad back. He's a pretty good representation of racists, because in terms of like what he has, he's not lost anything, but he perceives a loss in his status because other people are being accepted. That's a pretty accurate representation of racism, but I feel like it's an accident because he's just supposed to be like a bully who hates people. Like, he's acting like a classic Disney bully, except instead of being like, you're the nerd, it's like, you are a racial minority. And it hits different when it's about literal segregation. Addison gets busted going to a zombie party, and her parents are like, you've been hanging out with the wrong crowd. No cheer for you until we meet your new boyfriend. And Zed's like, uh-oh, but I'm a zombie and your parents are super racist. I know what I'll do. I'll mess with my government bracelet somehow in a way that will somehow make me human. And this is such an important plot point, or like contribution to the lore of the universe, that they kind of brush over, because it's like, okay, so the Z-Link bracelets make them not want to eat people, but they're still functionally zombies. Like, they still have to eat brains or brain replacements, and they are pale and they have green hair. I mean, they're mostly human, but you know, they're still zombies. But if he messes with his bracelet a little bit, he gets a normal skin tone, like he's not painted white, and his hair is black, and he eats ice cream, which he may or may not have been able to do before. And it's just sort of brushed past as like oh no, he's, and it's like, oh, you don't have to change who you are to you shouldn't have to change who you are to be accepted. You should just be on the normal changing who you are setting, not the extreme changing who you are setting. And you know, they have that in common because of course Addison has to wear a wig and he has to live in a slum. And because he messed with his bracelet, the hack system that Eliza set in like goes into overdrive and corrupts the hard drives of all bracelets, or just those, like just Zed's bracelet, Eliza's bracelet, and Gonzo's bracelet. I don't know what the connection is. It's for plot reasons. And the cheer squad, who are kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. They come to Bucky and they're like, we have the way to hack in. We have her computer. We can hack in and we can make them go zombie mode. And he's like, yes, that's what I want. I want them in public around my peers and near me to go full zombie. You know, from the beginning of the movie, when they ate people. And Bucky and Addison's family, because Bucky and Addison are cousins, and their grandfather was attacked by a zombie, and he was bitten, like his ear was bitten, or the zombie tried to eat his ear, and I think he got like just a little bit nibbled on, but not all the way eaten, which may not be why she has white hair. But that the reason she has white hair is just because she's a freak of nature in this movie, as far as we know. Like, it's just a medical mystery. We don't know. She can't diet. She has to wear a wig. Why doesn't she shave her head? I don't know. So Bucky, are you okay, my guy? Like, do you need help? Like, you feeling a little down? Because why do you want to die so much? Why are you so obsessed with setting off the flesh-eating monsters into flesh eating? Like, why do you want them to eat brains so badly near you? And that's exactly what happens. Zed, Eliza, and Gonzo get their bracelet goes full zombie. It breaks down. They go into full zombie mode. And as we saw before, that made Zed like super strong and really athletic. And so now they are just very slow moving. I think they're still super strong, but they're just like bah, bah, bah. It's not super scary. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, zombies! But like they're super easy to outrun. And as long as you don't go near them, like, you're fine. And that's what happens. Like, Zed goes over to Bucky and Bucky's like, I didn't think this through. I didn't think this flesh-eating monster I'd provoked to turn into flesh-eating would eat my flesh. But Zed's like, no! Even in full zombie mode, he doesn't want to eat people, okay? He doesn't want to eat people, which suggests to me that they don't need the bracelet. Like, there's a possibility that they don't need to be mind controlled to be basically human if they have the ability to not eat human flesh without it. Like, the bracelet really raises some weird questions. The zombies go a little but they don't hurt anyone. They don't even try and bite anyone. But they get arrested. They get locked up. They get sent back to the slum. They're punished. It was an electronic failure. Like, you can either prove that it was hacked in, or you can prove that like it failed, but either way it was not their fault. But all the zombie students get kicked out, and like That is how racism works. The whole school turns on them. Everyone who was friends with them, everyone who sympathized with them is like, boo, zombies, boo. The principal and the coach who had been like, he's one of us, is like, you guys are zombies and we don't like that anymore. Again, we are racists. So that's real racism. Good job, Disney. Well done. For a moment, because I was like, oh, okay, yeah. The disproportionate response, everyone freaking out, everyone blaming them, everyone turning on all of the zombies. That totally makes sense. Well done. Like, you've actually correctly presented how a racist society would treat minorities in this situation. But then they have, it's the wrong time in a musical for a ballad, but they have a ballad. Again, they really dropped the ball on it being a musical. Like, have they seen any good musicals ever? And she sings a ballad, and it's all about how she's going to stand up. It's time for her to stand up, and she might have to suffer for standing up for these people who literally are forced to live in a slum, but she has to wear a wig, and that's the same thing. But it's okay because she sometimes had to wear a wig, and she understands oppression, guys. She understands oppression, guys. She had to wear a wig. So she sings a ballad and she takes off her wig and she's like, you did this to them. You turned on the zombies even though they were your friends a moment ago. You art hypocrites. I am de-wigged. And everyone's like, boo! You're a freak! You look mildly different from you did before. Get out of here! And her parents are like, oh no, she let everyone know she's a little bit different looking than normal people. Okay, look at the wig. Look at the wig. She's clearly been cutting the hair under the hair under her wig, her white hair. But like, what is happening up here? What's happening down here? What? It's just so bad. And like, at this point, I'd like to point out, like I already pointed out, like I have said about the white face paint, but I just think when people become undead or dead, not everyone goes white. And the white face paint is perhaps not the best choice on certain skin tones. Like when people die, they do, like, the blood rushes out of their, it pools. And I guess these zombies don't have the same circulatory system. So like, but again, they don't all have to be painted white. It's just, it doesn't work on all skin tones, is what I'm saying. So now, this is where, like, specifically Zed's dad is like, why would you change who you were to be accepted into the football team? I love you the way you are. Son, you don't have to change who you are. Besides changing who you are literally via scientific manipulation by the bracelets that we are forced to wear by the government. But other than that, you don't have to change who you are to be accepted. People should accept you for who you are, as long as who you are is, controlled by a bracelet. Feel like the message is being lost and you don't have to change who you are when we're literally told that they have to wear a bracelet that changes who they are. So anyway, Eliza, she's now so upset that she's like, it's time for zombies to rise up. And as we all know, protesting your oppression is almost as bad, if not worse, than the oppression itself. And she wants to sabotage the cheer competition. And Gonzo and Zed are like, you can't do that. That just proves that we're what they think we are somehow. Because what they think we are is flesh-eating monsters. And what you're going to do is make them lose a cheerleading competition. And those two things are the same thing. Zed manages to talk But luckily, they didn't have to do any sabotage because Buck, even though it looked like for a moment he had some self-reflection because he was like, wow, Zed didn't eat me even though I made him go full zombie mode and I've been horrible to him this whole time. No, he digs his heels in deeper, which is again very realistic of a racist. And he's like, anyone who even looks at a zombie without a scowl on their face is off the cheer team. And so now they're less than half a team. They go out there and they suck because they don't have the manpower to cheerlead properly. I don't know anything about cheerleading. And instead of being like, well, you got what you deserved. You've treated us terribly this whole time. You put us and everyone around you in danger because of your hatred. We're going to sit back and let you lose this cheer championship that everyone's been winning for the past like decades long. Like, I think it's okay to let them fail, but no, this is a Disney movie. So little Zoe, the little girl zombie, she goes out there and she's like, I'm a cheerleader. And everyone's like, oh, boo, get off the stage, little girl. We don't like zombies, which, woo.
Let's go see the cheer!
Get off the stage, zombie!
Like, I wrote my opinions of the movie as it was going. So when I first wrote that reference to Ruby Bridges, the little girl who we see in all those pictures, who turned 66 in 2020. So again, still alive. I didn't know that this part of the movie was going to happen. So, like, imagine my glee and horror at literally a bunch of grown adults yelling abuse at a little girl for existing in the zombie racism allegory musical. I mean, you did it. You showed racism. And then you followed it up with an uplifting musical number instead of, wow, look how messed up these people are. And the musical number changed everyone's mind, by the way. If only Martin Luther King had decided to sing about his problems instead of talking and doing sit-ins and protests. Oh, if only the Black Panthers were a cheerleading group instead of, a gang. Oh, if only Black people could have had rights in America so much faster. If only they'd come up with some hot jams. As if Black people in America haven't come up with the hottest jams. It happens, they put on a great song and they sing about how we're all different, but we're all the same. And honestly, I can't remember the song to save my life. I remember how I liked the dancing, but the song was below average. Like, it's like competently performed, but it has no staying power. And Bucky walks off. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with it. They give him a chance and he doesn't. And then as they're performing, the crowd goes wild. Everyone's loving it because it's that easy to forget about being racist. The little girl who was literally like just booed at by an entire crowd, she goes over to him and she's like, here, you're very good at cheering. You should go up there too. And I'm like, can we not redeem the human supremacist in the last like 10 minutes of the movie? Like, can we not? Like, some people aren't worth your forgiveness, especially when they've done nothing worthy of forgiving you. Like, when they haven't made any apologies or any attempt to make up for their terrible behavior, they're not worth your time. But he goes on and they all dance together and they're like, yay!
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
But they do pair off my two favorite characters. You might not have been able to tell that I loved Gonzo, but I did. I mean, he was designed to be lovable. I just think it's a weird, racist caricature. But I still love him because he was designed to make me love him. I'm only human. And I can prove that. I don't have to wear a bracelet to make me so, okay? I still crave human flesh, though. swoon, and they're in love. And you know what? I'm okay with that. So the movie ends, and it's like, so we didn't win the cheerleading competition. We did somehow manage to end racism at the cheerleading competition, but we didn't win the cheerleading competition because that would have been too unbelievable. But what we did do is we, Zombie Town, invited the people of outside Zombie Town into our town for like a big barbecue, and everyone spent time together, and it was all wonderful. They still live in the slums. Like, this is supposed to be a movie about ending racism, and they still live in the slums because the movie kept being like, well, they made the slums really pretty, and like, this is zombie art. Like, yes, they're making art out of trash because they're not allowed to own property, but that's just zombie culture that we forced on them because we didn't let them live in our society because they're literally segregated, because they're literally living in slums. Oh my God, this movie. Can you understand why I'm obsessed with this movie? Like, after one viewing, I can't, like, I want to watch it again. I want to watch it 100 times. I want to distill it into a drink and slurp it up. I want to bake it into a cake and serve it to my friends, okay? I can't not talk about this movie. I can't not think about this movie. And I can't not overanalyze this movie. One, because of who I am fundamentally as a person, but also because it's just so zombie racism allegory musical. I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing. I mean, they're living in literal slums. They have to wear identifying items of clothing. They have to wear a bracelet, a piece of jewelry that identifies them as zombies, that controls them. They are not allowed. Like, it's stated in the movie that they're given the worst jobs. Okay, the guy who is their janitor that turned teacher is also still the janitor, and that's just like, that doesn't change. They're treated like second-class citizens, and that it doesn't change. It's they still live in the slums. At the end of the movie, they have musical numbers about how racism is bad, but they still live in the slums at the end of the movie, and they're happy to live in the slums because the zombies. They're genetically superior at sports because they are stronger than normal people. Do you see what I am saying here? It is so obvious and so badly handled in such a bland musical number with weirdly stylized directing, and it is beautiful and horrible at the same time, and I can't get it out of my head. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye!